We are back with another interesting leaked photos, or more of leaked photos of this Harley CVO, and I think they did these two on purpose. Asshole amount of comments of people hating these other ones that they almost had to do it to save face. But don't forget, we are days away from this giveaway. Ran a little behind here, so I just did film the promo video for the giveaway. I'm at my favorite location, which is, so I did just film the promo for the next giveaway that we're doing. Hopefully by this weekend, I'm gonna launch it and we'll be good to go. It's just gotta get edited, gotta get some tweaks in there, and we are ready to rock, and we are gonna get all you guys hooked up with something pretty badass in my opinion. But either way, don't forget fbombbaggers.com, but hit that subscribe button in the meantime. You're gonna see it here first when we do the drop. But let's get to the good news, and I'm gonna get my face off this camera. And as you can see, I kind of blurred out the pictures in the thumbnail just to get you guys in here. We're gonna look at two things here. So there's actually a couple things I actually knew about this prior, and I was gonna make another video, but I did not, just because we were so busy. So here's what we found out. So this first picture right away, you can see is that gray street glide. And all those little dots on there and stuff like that by the tank dash, those must be like something for the production line. And actually, I know that for a fact because I did talk to someone at Harley and they told me a few things. This is actually a practice run. So basically any assembly line, they got to go through and get everything set up, make sure it's all smooth, and then that's when they start running it. We know this for a fact that these are going to release in sometime midsummer, July, and then they will be available, I think at then, or right, yeah, they should release in July, like end of July. And we will all be ready to rock for the anniversary in Milwaukee in September. But this run of CVOs is actually code name. So that was the other thing I found out, that these guys are, they code name all their whatever builds or designs and all that. And this one, for whatever reason, is called Ultra. I'm sorry, this one is called Ultron. Ultrons. I don't know if that's like a Transformers or the old Tron movie or something, but it's called Ultron, U-L-T-R-O-N. That's what we know. We know, he told me, my guy told me it was going to get released in July, like I said, 12-inch screen, and the gauges are actually going to be movable. So that's why I bring this first picture up right here. That's a pretty huge screen, and it actually kind of looks badass. So at this point, I think they probably went to the iPad style, where there's going to be no guts in the background. It's almost just flat, because technology at this point is so smart that you don't need, you know, the big, huge back ends of stuff to run all this stuff. So at this point, it looks like all the gauges are going to be digital. You're going to be able to move them around, change everything, you know, air, whatever. You'll have your intake air temperatures, your oil pressure, I don't know, inject your pulse, who knows what they're gonna have all in here that you can monitor, and, you know, all be in the smart new developed head unit, if you wanna say. I don't even know what you're gonna call it, because like I said, I'm sure it's probably no bigger than an iPad at this point, thickness wise. But it looks cool. I'll give them credit on that one. That's definitely different. I gotta see, you know, going back to being an only iPad style, you're not gonna have guts. It's a 12-inch screen, we know that much, so it's 12 inches in width. There's no way all that 12 inches is going backwards, so that's probably going to have a smaller, you know, part of the back end that comes out, and that's where your harness will be, and that's where your main harness would be and plug into. Who knows what they're going to do for the upgrades? I mean, at this point, everything's got to be built in it. I'd be curious to see in the background. Looking at that thing on the bottom, I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's the new. It looks like that's the new switch panel right on the bottom of the display. And there's only one switch there at this point, so it looks like you might have like an array of a whole bunch of different switches that you'll be able to have on there if you do other styles, because it looks like at the bottom of that is a fork lock, and that's just flat now, it's not extended out, so that's different. There's something on the left hand side there which I can't even make out what it is. It's weird. It's like 3 circles. I mean, you can see the tank dash is completely different, but then, you know, zooming into the bottom, you see those 3 dots and that little square tape. Like I said, that's on the other side too, so that's got to be something for programming into the line itself, the actual what you call it, assembly line programming. So here's the good part. We all hated on that roll glide, and it looks like that was just a bad picture. And that's why I say they almost had to release this to save face, because that picture, whoever did take it, took it at the worst angle and it made it look like ass. Here's the new Road Glide. The front end, here's a clear, undistorted picture, almost the same what we've seen before, except this one is just better looking. It does look good from this point, so it doesn't look like the fairing is that much bigger. It almost looks like it could be the same size. But the downfall is it looks like a Challenger to me. It looks like an Indian. That's the one fail. Looking at this picture a little bit clearer, you can tell it has a turn signal, but then that whole white thing, what do they call that? That white part that goes all the way, I don't want to say like a daytime running light, I guess at this point. It looks like that whole bottom is going to light up. That whole side, almost I would assume to the side of the headlight, that whole bottom is going to be lit up just as a daytime running light, and then when you turn your turn signals on, the back end of that little light comes on where the, towards the inner fairing. We can see now that it still looks like it's 13-inch rotors, even with a 21-inch tire. Those rotors are pretty massive. The Brembo brakes like that, the inverted forks. The oil cooler is bigger, and I was told that the oil lines are supposedly hard lines completely now, which I don't know about that, because you can't get the hard lines off. You got to have some flex in the lines themselves, because when you take the oil lines off the rockers, you got to be able to flex them to move them out. So maybe they redesigned that and made it a lot better for us guys that work on it, and made it a lot easier, because it's always a pain in the ass to get those on and off. So I'm assuming they probably tweaked that design and made it a little better. But that looks about it. I mean, I guess you guys are gonna hang out till July, and we got to see what we got going on here and go from there. But looking at the bottom of the chin, that oil cooler is definitely way bigger. I can tell you that much right now. You got a different line coming right above the crash bar. There's like a line that goes to the right side under the chin spoiler. I don't know what that line could be. It's like that's a new oiling line or something, right? Because that's technically, it's got to be the oiling lines. Yeah, so that's a new route in the oiling lines. You can see the clutch cable, which some guy actually on TikTok made a video about his clutch cable that snaps onto the frame right there. It like kept popping off, and he had a brand new CVO, whatever. It's got like 6,000 miles on it. He put 6,000 miles on it. It kept popping off, and every time it would turn, it would rub. So he was blasting Harley on that one. But it looks to be it from these two pictures. I mean, we probably will get some more coming in the days here, or the months, because we are getting into summer, spring. Let me see if I can, yeah, there's no camera information, so I don't know, it's hard to say. But looking back at this inner fairing, I mean, it's interesting. That screen probably does look dope. Whoever that guy in the background is probably like fired at this point. Unless these were taken legally, then it doesn't matter. But I think that's about it. I mean, we are trying to get some info. And it's got to be the shittiest pictures too. Like, someone could have took with a nice iPhone. It would have been nice. Could forward it everywhere and could zoom in and see everything real nice. But I'm just pinpointing what I see. Paint job is just a scallop paint job, nothing special in my opinion. Shorty fender, Brembo brakes, all the stuff we pointed out before. But just going off what my guy told me, it's called the Ultron Project. So maybe that's what it is, the Ultron Project, which, the Rushmore Project. The other one was called Rushmore a couple years ago. We know the 12-inch screen, and then it's going to be released in July. And he also stated the oil lines were hard. So I don't know what that means. I don't know how that's going to be different, but we will have to stay tuned and see and go from there. Like I said in the beginning of the video, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, drop a comment, and get ready to enter for your chance to win. I can't say it just yet, but for your chance to win something. If you ain't familiar, I already did 2 fat tire giveaways. The second fat tire bike is actually going to be on its way up here shortly, finally, and we're going to get him done and on the road. So he is definitely excited to get it done. But either way, in the meantime, fbombbaggers.com. Hit this subscribe button, hit the notification bell, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Do we agree at this point that the Road Glide does look much better, except that it only looks much more like a Indian Challenger? So I guess we gotta wait and see. But till then, all right, peace.